was about to say my microphone was on mute for a second. Hello, everybody. What's going on? This is Jared Hoffman here with another edition of the Better Than Less Than podcast. Appreciate everybody who is tuning in with me right now. If you can, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the HBCU Sports YouTube channel. Go to hbcusports.com for all the latest news and sports. I'm rushing through that because don't nobody care about that right now because I got a star-studded cast with me, a cast of guests with me right now that is going to break down some of the secrets into the success of what is known as RBU at Virginia Union. To my top right, to my right, we have Jada Byers, the man who a lot of people you may know was a two-time CIAA Player of the Year, the reigning Deacon Jones Trophy winner, aka the Black College Football Player of the Year winner, and is a two-time CIAA champion. Below him on my screen is the man who is possibly going to win CIAA Player of the Year, not possibly, is going to win CIAA Player of the Year this year, could potentially win the Deacon Jones Trophy this year, and his head coach laid out a case that he could potentially be the first HBCU player to win the Harlon Hill Trophy. We'll get into that in a second. And below me on my screen is the coach who has been a part of molding these young men and getting the most out of their talents every day. That is Coach Diego Riley, who is the associate head coach and running backs coach for Virginia Union. Hopefully we get Tabyus Taylor here. He's probably caught up at work right now, so understanding of his situation. But fellas, how y'all doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing great. Can't complain.
I'm doing good, man. It's good to have y'all here to break down some of the secrets, giving us some of that secret sauce into what's cooking down there at Virginia Union. But I just want to start real quick with Coach. So, Coach, if you could give me a breakdown of what it was like when you first saw each of these guys step onto the football field. We'll start with Tabyus first because he was there first, and then we'll go to Jada and then Curtis Allen. What your perspective is and what those guys were like when they first got to Virginia Union.
When we first got here as a staff, honestly, Tabyus was overweight. He was like 251 pounds. And I told him he would never play running back for me if he don't get down weight. So he did what he did. And I told him if he got down to under 225, he'd be an All-American. Just understanding the process and what Coach Taylor demanded championships, Coach Bunker demanded excellence from all of his coaches. So that's what happened. He came back at 221, and the rest is history. He trusted the process, and he developed into being a running back that led the entire nation in rushing as well as all-purpose yards. So that bias, he just trusted the process, and I had to earn his trust, and that's key to be a successful coach in any entity, whether it's football, baseball, or whatever. Just being a coach, you have to earn those young men or young ladies' trust to be able to do so.
Absolutely. So, to Jada and Curtis, give me y'all perspective of what it was like the first time y'all stepped on the Virginia Union football field and how y'all developed into the players y'all became. Starting with Jada.
The way I developed to the player I became is, like you said, the man that just got done talking to y'all, Coach Riley. Like, one thing he praises and just the running back room in general is bigger than football. It's way bigger than football. It's just more to football than just football. And he always tell us, like, don't count your reps, make your reps count. And that's what we abide by back there. You got to understand, like, Curtis was with me all 3 years. Well, for my 4 years I was there, and you see what he's doing right now. When his shine is on him, and he was already doing that when I was there. Nobody understood when I got hurt my junior year. Kurt had 107 yards in 3 games, back to back to back to back. So it was like, y'all saying this now. We've been saying this at practice, and it's just like that's what coach make us do to be great.
Yeah, Curtis, you have a unique perspective because you came in as the backup to Jada. So what was it like, not knowing when those reps were going to come, not knowing when those carries was going to come, but still giving it your all when you stepped on the field? Like he said, you had a 2-game stretch when Jada was hurt, and I believe the 23 season, where you had 155 and 151. So what is that like, not knowing when those reps are going to come, but making them count when you stepped on the field?
I would say when I first got here, I definitely thought I was going to play more than I did, but seeing that I didn't, it was a bummer, and that
and the fact that Jada and Coach Ryland like was talking to me and like telling me like don't count your reps, make your reps count. And, you know what I'm saying? Your time coming, just stay here, stay strong, do what you got to do, and like your opportunity gonna come. So like just all of them like bringing me in, like treating me as a family, just helped me out a lot.
Yeah, one thing I talked about with Coach Ryland a couple of like a month ago. Go check that interview out on hbcusports.com if you haven't checked it out yet. But Coach Ryland talked about how all of his running backs, he prepares them as if they are going to be the starter. So how do those practices help you guys when it comes to, in preparation for a game, not being afraid of the moment when you get there?
It helped me out because my freshman year, what people understand, my freshman year, I was actually the third string running back my freshman year, and it was like you never know when your time is going to come. It was like one day, I never forget, 2 days before we played Hampton, my first year there, I found out I was eligible to play, and the day before the game, we had a walkthrough practice, and I took like all the walkthrough reps, and I'm like, oh, like I was shocked because you never know when it's going to happen. And then there from on there, every time got going, you just never know when you're gonna be prepared for your time because Coach Riley makes sure you prepare during practice. Like it'd be a time where every running back gets 6 reps the whole day. If you mess up, you mess up, but we're gonna correct it in a running back room and make sure everybody come out there and do one.
What about you, Curtis?
Can you repeat the question for me?
Just what is it like, how those practices prepared you for those games, knowing that you getting those first team reps when a lot of teams don't prepare like that. They don't usually have the guy who is, as Jada said, the second or third string, but you getting those first team reps. How did that prepare you when you got in the game?
It definitely helped a lot because Coach Riley is a great coach. He always instills in us like practice how we play, and always like we said earlier, don't count your reps, make your reps count. So he always like instills hard work into us. Like Coach Riley was in the military, so like he don't give it to us easy at all. So he always on top of us, making sure we do the right thing, assignment, alignment, all that. So just everything in general.
Talk to me about the communication between you guys in that running back room, and I'm talking about Jada and Curtis here. That communication between you guys in the running back room, because for those who are watching right now, even though these guys are a part of RBU, RBU is a collection of guys. It's not just these guys. You got a whole offensive line who is a part of it. You got a running back room full of guys who are part of that. You got guys like Zaire Tart and Jerome James and all these other guys who are a part of it as well. So talk to me about that communication between all of you guys that helps make everything work. I feel like Coach Ryland has something to say about that.
Hey, Jared, I'm gonna interject right here. So in the room, those guys hold each other accountable, right? So initially when they come to the room, they have to learn what the standards are, what the rules are, how we do things. And what happens is I lean on the guys that's been in the room to make sure, that stuff carry over. So year in and year out, right? So Curtis has been in the room long. We got Raphael Tucker, we got Ramon Brown, Davon McGee, right? So all those guys, even prior to that, you had a bunch of guys with Jada. All those guys, what happened is they hold each other accountable. So this year, and I'll say this with Jada being on, and I'm sure Tabyus probably is listening if he's not able to get on. This probably has been the easiest year coaching because I have so many guys in the room that's been in the room, so they know what right look like. So those guys are coaching each other up more than I am. So I can't take credit for a lot of the offensive line coaches that we've had since we've been here. Those guys have been stout. You're talking about Mike Marie, who's at Lehigh, Ryan Fink, who's also up at Division One, and then we have Quinn Brown. Those guys do an excellent job, and we work collectively together to make sure with the guys, Coach Parker, make sure that these guys are squared away. But in that room, man, those guys hold each other accountable, man. I can't take a lot of credit. Once I'll just make sure those guys understand what the standards are, but those guys hold each other accountable.
And he talked about setting the standard. When you, for Jada and Curtis, do you feel that throughout the locker room, that cohesion that starts with the coaching and then you guys follow suit, or do you feel like once they set that standard, you guys take it and run with it on your own. So is it more of a coach leading to tell you what needs to be done, or do you feel like you already got the message from day one?
I feel as though you get the message through the door. I don't know if you ever watched the movie The Program, like when they made the running back carry the football around because he was fumbling a lot. Like it's little things that Coach Ryland teaches. Like even when we walk through the door, if you come through the door standing straight up, we smack in your chest because the running back is taught to run low. Like if you got your hoodie on in the building and his in his room, you got to do 10 push-ups. You got to beat your face up. Like we hold each other accountable. Like either even quick questions sometimes where I'm running the meet or Kurt running the meet, and it's like, hey, we gonna ask this running back the question that probably ain't getting that much playing time as us to see if his time do come, do he know what he got to do? And when we ask him a question, they get it wrong, we need 20 push-ups. You get it right, we praise you. Like we one thing about us, we gonna praise the goodness and we gonna praise the bad as well. And Coach Riley gonna make sure we do that.
What about you, Curtis? Do you feel like that message is felt from day one, or
I think it's felt from day one. Definitely, like when I first got here, I think I seen like what's his name? Our fullback Steve. He not playing with us no more, but our fullback Steve, he was here. He had got in trouble. Coach Riley had made him beat his face up for something, and I'm like, oh snap! Like yeah, like it's real here. Like I'm gonna come here actually learn what I'm supposed to learn, get real work, and like get an opportunity.
and so, Coach, when you set that, because we're gonna get into the specifics of these guys' success because they have a lot. But Coach, when you talk about setting that standard, how important is it to make these guys let these guys know what the expectation is and continue to communicate it throughout the season and not have any kind of inconsistency in how your expectations are of this team?
So it's like we the standards are what they are because in life, and they'll always tell you that it's more to football than football, right? There's rules, regulations, guidelines, laws that we have to live by, right? So we take that into consideration. So once you do that, it prepares you for life after the game, right? So if they can follow, the standards in football, they should be able to follow the laws in life, right? Uh, so we in our room, we don't really we care less about how many total yards we get. We really don't. We don't talk about um, getting 100 yards. We don't talk about that. And those guys always, you hear them say, don't count your reps, make your reps count. We pay attention more to yards per carry, right? Like I knew Curtis was going to have a great year this year because of his yard per carry last year when he got his opportunities, right? Myself and our receivers coach, Coach Hand, we joked around about it, and I told him that before fall camp even started, I was like, Curtis is going to have a magnificent year because he put the work in this summer, and then I looked at his yards per carry. So if you look at the yards per carry, as long as those guys are getting 5 yards or more per carry, right? 2 carries is a first down. So we break it down to that. You know what I mean? It's more about the yards per carry than it is how many yards you get per game.
Absolutely. So let's break down the specifics of that. Like, so Jada, the defining moment that a lot of HBCU fans got familiar with you was the Valdosta State game in 22. So talk to me about, first of all, coming into that season and that mentality that you had when you were a third string running back of making the reps count, and then what from our perspective, it finally came to fruition in that Valdosta State game, and then you just took off from there.
Like my freshman year there was like it was no, I was like I don't know people understand like we had Rocco, Prentice Cole, it was more running backs in there before me, and it was just like them guys right there. I'm gonna speak on Rocco more because I had like a great relationship with Rocco, and I still talk to him here and there. And it was like when I was in the room with him, I was learning from the older guys that was in front of me. So it was like he was like, "Man, listen, bro, go ahead. You hot." And that's how it was my freshman year. Feed the hot hand, regardless if we gonna make our reps count, and we gotta do what we gotta do. I remember my freshman year against Sawan, Rocco break a 99-yard touchdown and set a record right there for the longest touchdown in a game, and he started cramping. I'm like, come on, Rocco, bro, you doing too much now. You ain't cramping. You can play. He's like, nah, bro, I need you to finish the game. And I finished the game with 25 carries with 233 yards and like 2 touchdowns, I think. And we wound up winning. And then also to next year, speak on the Valdosta game, like I was in my head a little, like being there, like in that big moment, because Valdosta was a big team, a big stage team. They would think they was ranked number one at the time, because the year before that, my freshman we played them, they beat us 50-7. I was the only one that scored, and I had 100 yards rushing, and it was like, wow, like I'm about to play these boys again. I got to get a chance to revenge and do what I got to do, and I'll never forget it was like a battle, and the way I battled was like I battle in silence. Like Kurt first two carries, he scored. He had two carries for I think like 60 yards and two touchdowns. I'm like, yo, he hot, coach. And I'm telling Coach Parker, like, hey, feed him, coach. You get what I'm saying? Like, feed him. I understand I'm averaging 5 yards a carry, but he averaging 20 yards a carry. He just scored twice, back to back, two carries, like give him the ball or whatever. And I had wound up fumbling after his second touchdown. I'm like, oh man, how I'm about to be like redeem myself. And Kurt walked up to me, my offensive line walked up to me, Coach Parker, all of them walked to me like, listen, we're gonna put this game in your hands and you come out here and show the world who you really is. And I believe it, like I always tell people, that whole year I had the best front five in the nation. And I feel as though here on out in these last couple of years, we still do. And the Lions show who they really was, and I show who I was, and we did what we had to do.
Absolutely. So another game that Coach Ryland talked about when we spoke last month was the Bowie State game, and he called that the game that was the turning point for you guys from being a burgeoning contender, of being on the verge of being a championship contender, to crossing over to being that championship team. So talk to me about getting over that Bowie State hump, because at that time Bowie was the three-time defending champions and were transitioning into a new era, and but they were still considered to be Bowie. Talk about getting over that Bowie State hump and how that helped you guys cross over into championship contention.
For me, I feel as though like my freshman year, Bowie was a pretty good team. Like Bowie's a great program in general. And my freshman year, when we ran that open kick return back, and Jada Byers ran that kick return back, I thought we was gonna beat them my freshman year. I really did. Like we had the chance to beat them, but we had Charles Hall out there, receiver, and it was like we got an All American receiver that we can't go away from. And it was more of they triple team him. We couldn't do what we want to do on offense. And the next 3 years after that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I averaged like 220 yards on them every year after that. And I feel as though our offensive line just got better and better. And them guys say, like, this is what we want to do. Like, we can run the ball. We're going to run the ball and beat y'all. Y'all have to stop us regardless. Y'all know who's getting the ball or not. And we came out there and played Virginia Union football. And that's what it was. And that's how I feel as though we got over the hump, because everybody believed, like, hey, like, boy, not what we think they is. And we are what we are. We are what we say we are. And that's what we came out to play these last 3 years.
And Coach, talk about that mentality that he talks about, that even though Bowie was where they were and having the success that they had, that you got to have that belief that we are right there and that we can compete with them. And then they go out and do it, and they've done it ever since.
Yeah, I think that year, we had a few teams in the CIAA that was really, really, really good, and you could see over the past few years, man, just the conference in general has elevated its play from offense, defense, and special teams wise. When you look at those things, I think what it was is, those guys believed in each other. I think they believed in each other, and that team started in 22, because we always had athletes. We always kid with all the guys now that we think 18 probably had the 2018 probably had the most talented. They were the most talented team, where we talking about individual, but they weren't a team that was solid together, right? And I think 22, the team came together. They became brothers, and I think since then that brotherhood has been a constant, and that's why Coach Parker has put together solid staffs and solid teams these past few years, because we were always good. I mean, you look at the record in the last 7 years. I think Virginia Union has been the most dominant HBCU program in the country, just statistically. So I think that's what it was. I think they realized that coming together collectively as a unit, a brotherhood, that anything can be accomplished. And I think when that thing went through the uprights, and Brady ran up and down the field, I think everybody was elated, because we felt like we did something that we've been trying to accomplish since we've been here.
Absolutely. And when you talk about being one of the more successful programs in HBCU football since 2018, since Dr. Parker got there, you guys are one of two teams that has had a winning season every year, y'all and Albany State. So that shows the level of consistency that you guys have shown throughout your years. But I'm gonna get into Curtis Allen season in a second, but I know Coach Ryland has to go, so I want to ask him real quickly. Your head coach, Dr. Parker, in his weekly presser, he talked about how that man to your left on my screen, but to your right on my screen, believes that he should be the first HBCU player to win the Harlon Hill Trophy. For my money, we've had a couple of guys that should have been Harlon Hill Trophy winners. Amir Hall should have been a Harlon Hill Trophy winner. Jada Byers could have been a Harlon Hill Trophy winner. But this year, it could be, we finally could get over that hump, and Curtis Allen could be the first guy to do it. Coach, why should Curtis Allen be the first HBCU player to win the Harlon Trophy?
I think when you go back and look at Amir Hall and you look at the Jada Byers, they had other guys that were doing outstanding things too. Like the kid, Siobhan Wright, who's at Northern Illinois. I mean, that kid was dominant, right? You know, he was dominant, 2,000-yard rusher, and he didn't get it. You know what I mean? So you got to be a little different, and you got to be winning. When Amir Hall didn't get it, the kid at Shepherd that was a quarterback that wanted, he was a backup at the Chicago Bears, right? So although those guys were dominant, they had guys that were dominant because the kid, I think, when Jada won, was a finalist, was a kid from Colorado Mines, the quarterback. I mean, they were dominant football players as well. All right. Now, you know, even though we have other dominant young men that's out there playing football for other schools, they might not be winning on the level, and they might not be. But I think Curtis deserves it, and he's earned it because, you know, he's shown something that just haven't been done. I think the only other kid that I think, but he's a Division III kid, the kid at Cary College, that kid is running up crazy too. But I think Curtis has earned it. And I echo Coach Parker's sentiments when it comes to Curtis Allen being the HBCU first Harlon Hill winner.
Absolutely. So we'll get into Curtis Allen's season where he has a chance to cross over that 2,000-yard clip. I don't know, if Coach, if you have to go at any time, if you feel like you need to go, then we appreciate your time. I appreciate your perspective and everything. So
no doubt, man. I appreciate you guys, man. And hey, we'll continue to play for 11, and we look forward to a matchup with Virginia State this weekend.
Absolutely. So Curtis, talking about how your season has gone so far, what was the moment? What was the moment that you felt like you could do something special this season? Was it something prior to this year that happened that let you know that a season like this could potentially come, or was it something that happened during training camp, during spring camps? What was the moment that you knew that you could do something special when you got that opportunity to be the full-time starter?
The moment I knew I could do something special was, I would say, last year, probably Lenore Ryan. Like when I got them opportunities and did what I did with the football, you know, it was a blessing there, and I put in a lot of work this off season just to you know, come back and show people what I could do and showcase my talent.
And when you talk about that Lenore Ryan game, that was during the playoff run last year when you guys made it to a regional final. Talk to me about that playoff run, because in the first round you played against Wingate, who you guys had lost to in 22. Was it anything that you took from that game in 22 that helped you guys out in the playoff run in 20? Well, you also made it to the playoffs in 23. So 22 and 23. Was there anything that you learned from those two playoff runs that led to the playoff run last year, and that could help you guys this time around as you pursue a national championship? Not going to look ahead of that, but like anything that you learned from those previous two playoff runs that helped you guys last year?
Well, I would say I learned that, like, you got to have a different mindset when it comes to playoffs. Like, you got to be ready and prepared, because like it's a different ball game when it comes to playoff time. You know what I'm saying? It's colder, teams are better, everybody just as good as you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go home with that feeling that you lost again. So like, that was just like the biggest pet peeve of mine, and just being able to, you know, try to do something, change history. You know, we changed history last year, and we trying to rewrite history. So that's it.
And Jada, what was your perspective on that playoff run, and how do you feel like you guys got over that playoff hump?
I feel as though we just believed in each other. Like we just all told each other, like, hey, we back to back champions now. Let's go make history. You know, Union ain't won a playoff game since Union been built. Like in our first year, we did it when we beat Wingate. When RJ Gonzalez took off and got tackled at the 1 yard line, I knew the game was over from there. I knew we was gonna win it. I knew we weren't gonna take it too much longer. And then the next game after that, we had in the lower lines. We like, hey, like this is what we came out here to do. We really came out here to show who we really are. And people doubted us, like, oh, they was a lucky win over Wingate. You know, we came out there the next week and did what we had to do. And like, I'm sorry it came up that we fell short against Valdosta, but it just showed us like, hey, we can really do this. And this year, in the year when I left, and I'm like, this year they're gonna be winning it again, 3 times champions, and they're gonna go on a playoff run. And it's gonna be the first year, I'm gonna say it here, that the Union wins a national championship. And this is the first year that Curtis Island breaks history with winning the Harlon Hill Trophy. Simple. It's not hard to say it.
Absolutely. And when you talk about that process of winning the national championship, Curtis, you guys fulfilled the first step towards that goal. And your last game against Bluefield State, you guys won 70-14, and you had, and I don't even know what word to describe it. I'll just put out the numbers that you put up. 369 set in a new CIAA record, not just the Virginia Union record, the CIAA record from rushing yards in the game. And you guys, what's more important to you, clinched a berth in the CIAA championship game. Walk me through that game and your process throughout that game. Is there even an indicator that you could potentially do something special like that? What was your mindset going into that game?
My mindset going in that game was definitely like I need a bigger one because like I've been close to like 300 a few times, so I was just feeling like the 300-yard game was gonna come sooner or later. I'd be talking to my brother and my other teammates about it, and you know I went into the game like, all right, like I gotta have my mind ready and focused because mind you, it's cold out there. It's cold out there in the mountains. It's definitely a little cold out there in the mountains, so I had to make sure I was through my gear and everything that I had on, and have my mind right, meditated before the game, and just had a clear mind.
So now you go into the final week of the season against Virginia State. You're a 50-something away from 2,000, but you could also keep their streak going because you haven't been below 100 this season. So the question is, are you just aiming to get that 2,000, or are you trying to get as many as you can? Because you got the CIAA championship locked up. So what's the mindset going into this game? Are you looking to just get the 2,000 and whatever happens, or are you trying to get as many as you can?
Really, I'm just trying to run till I can't run no more.
I like that, plain and simple. Jada, what you think about what's your prediction? How many he getting?
I told him, I called him, was it last night or the night before? I told him last night, I need 307, man. We need that. We need the all-time record. I think it's, because I seen it in the interview somewhere. I think it's if he get 307 rush yards, he will have an all-time record of any running back that ever played college football in a single season. I told him we need 307, and I told him, take what they give you. We don't need none extra. Take what they give you, and we're going to get out there with a W. Simple. So I got him going for at least 300, 4 tons, and hey, and we're going to see him in November 13th again for the third CIAA championship.
And I know you're going to have the best seat in the house to see him
Oh, I'm there this Friday. I'm coming out there Friday. This Friday, I'm going there this week. I'm going out there Friday night.
Absolutely. So, Curtis, as you guys head toward the CIAA champ, well, not looking past Virginia State, obviously, but there's 2 teams that you could potentially face in Johnson C. Smith and Fayetteville State. 2 teams that you're very familiar with. That was the team that Fayetteville State is the team that you beat in 23 to win your first CIAA championship. Last year, your only conference loss was against Johnson C. Smith, and this year you got your revenge and got that win back. So talk to me about the potential of either of those teams. What kind of problems do either of those teams possess for you guys?
Honestly, both of those teams are good teams, but, I'm really just worried about myself, and we just worry about us, all we could do is just be prepared, practice, take it 1 week at a time, take it day by day. We're not really, worried about what they're going to do per se because, it is what it is. But, it's just so more of us being ready for the game and like preparing every day and just like being ready to go out there and play when it comes to that time.
And Jada, I'm pretty sure I know what the answer to this question is, so it don't really make sense for me to ask it, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. How do you project Virginia Union in either of those matchups? What is it looking like in either of those matchups?
Virginia Union on top. They're gonna play for 11. They're gonna come out there and do what they gotta do. It's not surprising, man. I'm not there no more, so I ain't gotta be humble. Kurt and them gotta be humble. I ain't gotta be humble. I'm telling people what it is. They're gonna come out here on top and do what they gotta do. I ain't gonna put too much out there, but Virginia Union for 3 straight.
Absolutely. And when you talk about Virginia Union for 3 straight, it's not too many teams that have been able to do that. You know, the last team to do it in consecutive years, unfortunately, my Bowie State Bulldogs, we was robbed about a COVID pandemic, so we couldn't do it 3 straight years. But the last team to do it 3 straight years was Hampton 92, 94. So what would it mean for the Virginia Union football program to complete that three-peat and obviously go on to the bigger goal of getting to a national championship? Again, not looking ahead, we're just talking about potential if it were to happen.
I think that'd be a blessing for us, honestly, because that's something that's not done often. It's really hard to do, and like for us to do it 3 years in a row, when we do it, like it's gonna be definitely a blessing, and we're grateful for it.
Absolutely. So Jada, obviously you talked about you're not there right now, but the last we heard from you, you signed with, I forget the team in the UFL that you signed with, but
Memphis Showboats.
Memphis Showboats. So what is it like now for you preparing for a potential opportunity to play in the UFL, and what kind of preparation, how's the preparation going, and what kind of things are you doing now?
The preparation is going great, actually. It was just a blessing in the sky from the man above when I got that call. And it was just like, hey, I got to take advantage of it. Even though they signed me last, like with 3 weeks left they had this year, it's just all focus mode. I can't wait to go back. We go back in February. And when I go back in February, we're going to wind up having another interview like this and saying, Jada, you did it in college for 1,500. I just seen you do it up there for 1,700. Like, what is it that's in you? And I'm going to just show the NFL scouts that didn't give me the chance or the opportunity to draft me or anything, that they should have took that chance on me. That's all.
Yeah, and if you play the DC Defenders, I'm gonna have to be on the sideline to see you cook. So
Oh, yeah.
hopefully
They the
you
reigning champs. They back to back champs.
yeah, absolutely. That's what we do down here. But that last question, I just want to ask you guys. What does Virginia Union University mean to each of you guys? Beyond football, what does having that VUU on your chest mean to you?
To me, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll let
go
Coach
ahead.
go. I about to say, to me, it just means family. I don't think people really understand that. Like, union is probably like a big family reunion every day. You just don't see the stuff you see. Like, it's some cats that came from Division 1 schools that came to union. Like, bro, like, I gotta schedule meetings to talk to my coaches. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Like, at union, every coach office is available. Not even just for football. You got the basketball coaches, the softball coaches, the volleyball coaches. You got everybody that just talk to everybody and to support everybody. Like, when basketball season around, when football is over, everybody from the football team is gonna be at the basketball games. And like, it's just one big family reunion, and you can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what he said, it's really like a big family. Like he said, everybody talk to everybody know everybody. Like when we go into the lunchroom, they go in, the lunch ladies, they be in there talking to us. They know us, they watch the games. Everybody know everybody around here. So it's really like a big family. This is a good vibe around here.
Absolutely. And that's, I know I didn't ask myself this question, but I think that's for a whole, that's what is so great about being at an HBCU, is that you get that family environment everywhere you go. A lot of our institutions are small, so we very tight knit and we all together, and that's what I really love about our HBCU family. But thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it. If you have one final message, I know Curtis, going into this weekend as you guys prepare to head into the CIAA championship game, what's the message to the Virginia Union fans as you guys go into the final week of the regular season?
My message is come out and support and be prepared for Bo to hit 2,000.
And Jada, what message do you have for the Virginia Union fans, and why should they be excited about
We
what's
should
ahead?
be there. Ain't no message. We should be there. We gonna be there. Bo Jackson for 2,500. We going for more than 2,000, man. I'm there front row every time we score. I'm there in the end zone. Simple.
It is. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank everyone for watching. If you can, please like y'all know at this point. Like, comment, subscribe to the HBCU Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our social platforms, HBCUsports.com. I don't need to say all that. We gone. Thank you so much.
I
See you next
appreciate
time.
it. Yep.
All right, boss man.